We have a problem from 4.1. Problem number 44 is a luxury tax problem in Major League Baseball. And in this situation, there's a luxury tax of 22.5% in excess of 128 million. So if a team has a payroll of less than 128 million, this does not apply. But once it exceeds 128, then there's a 22.5% in the excess. So, for example, if they had $129 million payroll, that $1 million that went over is taxed at 22.5%, and they have to pay that back to Major League Baseball, unless the government gets their hands in it. So, but anyway, so the total taxes, depending on how much the payroll is, this is what TFP stands for, is based on this 0.225 times P minus 128. And that's kind of what I was saying. If the payroll is 129 million, 129 minus 128, so it's only the 1 million. So that's how kind of the formula comes about. So the implied domain, the word implied probably gets some people because they think, well, what does that mean, implied? Well, it's just basically the domain. It's just what is the domain of this function. So like I said, this problem doesn't apply when it's like 120 million or 100 million. It's only when the excess. So in other words, if you put 100 million in here, it wouldn't work because 100 minus 120 is a negative, and so they don't get money back. So it's got to be above the 128 million even for it to work. So the implied domain is from 128 million and up. So that's the domain. So um, I mean, I suppose you could put 128 and make that a bracket if you like. If you want to know, well, do I have a bracket on that or not? You could. It's just if you have a bracket on there, 128 would be 128 minus 128, which is 0, so you don't owe anything anyway. So I would just say it's above 128, which means it doesn't get a bracket. Part B wants to know what the luxury tax of a payroll of 160 million. So this is just kind of a plug and chug. You just plug in 160 in there, and you can do 100 and that would be 0.225 times 160 minus 128. Now, I normally wouldn't do these problems in these kind of explanations because I want you to do some work on it, but on this one I'll do it, and I believe it's like 7.2 million. So the team would have to pay $7.2 million in luxury taxes. So now, the reason I wanted to do it was because of my graph, which is the next problem. They want us to graph this, and I broke up the scale. That's 128 million, and so in order to graph this linear function, if I had 2 points, I'd be done. So that's why I put 160 in there, which is more than 128, and you get 7.2 million. So, you know, how do you know where to put the numbers? I'm just kind of, it's just kind of hit and miss anyway with these huge numbers. So it's 160 million, it's 7.2 million. And of course, 128 million, you know nothing. You ain't going in excess of that. And I got my 2 points. And so the graph looks something like so. Now notice the line doesn't continue below the axis because that would be if it's less than 1. Remember, the domain is 128 or above. So looks like so. Part D is want to know what the payroll of a team with a luxury tax of 11.7 million. You don't put 11.7 million in here. Okay, they're telling you the tax is 11.7. So what you would have to do is put 11.7 equals 0.225 times the payroll minus 128. And I'm not going to waste my time doing that. That's just a simple solving an equation. So, but anyway, that's 44, section 4.1. Thanks.